I'm positive that the sandy siren will become a much greater attraction once I can serve Angel's Grays more often. I just have to figure out how to get those flowers to grow properly. But anyway, thanks again. I owe you one.
That you do. See you around, Remy.
Wasn't that Nouriel's father? What did he want?
He came to thank me for my brilliant suggestion to grow the ingredients he needs for his most famous cocktail in his own garden, rather than relying on a dealer who charged him unfair prices.
A brilliant suggestion indeed, but also simple enough that I wonder why he never hit on the idea himself.
The problem is that death flowers are technically not legal in this part of the world, but that has never stopped me before, and it also didn't stop me from taking over the business from Remy's former dealer. All I have to do now is plant a few death flowers in my own garden and see who else could use them. I'm thinking of the Popescus, maybe even High Priestess Domaris. The ageless sage keeps nudging me to assume a bigger role in the magic community, and he'll get his wish at last, but on my terms.
But once you've sold those flowers to a few magic families, what's going to stop them from following your example and simply growing their own?
They wouldn't know how. Death flowers are native to Mount Komorebi, one of the coldest places I know, and the previous dealer used to grow them in the dark refrigerated basement of his spa. My guess is that they can only survive in such environments, which is why Remy will never successfully grow them in his garden, and once he realizes this, he'll turn to me for help again and I'll never lose him as a customer.
You're such a meanie.
Yep, she is. What else is new?
Thanks. I wish I could return the compliment, but you've been awfully tame lately. Have you done anything inappropriate at all on this vacation?
I disturbed the island spirits by blowing up a geothermal cave with a spell that backfired, if that counts.
Backfired means it was accidental rather than intentional, but I suppose the consequences were severe enough to make up for that. That's my girl. Once we're back home, we'll have to get up to more mischief again.
If you think your daughter has gone soft, wait until you see what your son is doing at the moment.
Mum, Willie. Come here, we need impartial judges, and Grande apparently has better things to do.
That's unfair. They're your family. How impartial can they possibly be?
Only one way to find out. So tell us, ladies, which Sandman do you think is the best looking?
Did I promise too much?
What? Why? Did you build these?
Yes, although it's safe to say that I'm the only one who actually built something. The others just threw sand on a pile expecting it to look good.
Sorry, but they all look exactly the same to me.
Are you blind? Mine is clearly much more emotional than the others, just look at his face.
Emotions are overrated. My Sandman is the sexiest. He even has a dick.
Where? I don't see anything.
Don't look. Did no one ever teach you basic manners?
I remember a time, well, 3 times actually, when you were quite turned on by my lack of manners.
Good thing you two have found each other, so there will be someone to comfort you when the impartial judges decide that my Sandman is the best. Just look at the perfectly sculpted pieces that form his body. Have you ever seen a sandy torso this round?
You probably used magic for that.
Just a second.
3 adult men arguing over who built the prettiest Sandman, can you believe it? What's next? A sandcastle competition.
I think they're all pretty. Pretty ugly. 3 adult men with magic powers, and this is the best you can come up with? Let me show you how it's done.
Wait, what are you doing? You were supposed to be shocked at this.
If it helps, I'm not an adult. I only turned 8 this year.
What? Is that a merman thing? I thought your species aged normally, like humans.
They do, but Leviathan was born on the 29th of February, and now he believes he only grows older every leap year.
Basic mathematics.
I see.
Okay, I'll ask around and call you back. That was Charmaine. She and Elise were supposed to meet today, something about Shadow Veil, but Elise never showed up. Is she still here by any chance?
She was here yesterday evening, but disappeared before I could ask her to join our barbecue party. I haven't seen her since.
The same thing happened the day before yesterday, after the service at the Apostles' Cathedral. She must have a very busy schedule.
True, but that's not the reason for her latest disappearance. She ran into Joe Phil on her way home and got raptured, in a way.
Joe Phil the sea hag? And you saw what happened? Why didn't you tell us?
There's nothing you could have done. An angel's wrath is not easily incurred, but impossible to escape. Elise made a grave mistake and paid the price for it. I'm sorry.
You're sorry? Loki, you witnessed our friend get kidnapped by the sea hag and couldn't be bothered to tell us until someone asked, like you don't even give a fuck, and that's all you have to say about it.
She's not dead, just gone, and that's really for the best, because in my past she played a major part in bringing about the end of the world as you know it.
So you let her be removed from the equation to prevent the calamity?
Nothing can prevent the calamity, but I figured it would be easier for you if it was caused by someone else, someone who isn't your friend.
You know what? Your pragmatism sucks.
Where are you going?
To the Lost Valley. I'll find the conch shell Nuriel called the Sea Hag with, call her again and demand that she let Elise go.
Forget it. The only thing that can come out of this is her getting mad at you too. How are you even planning on traveling there? I won't spawn another aquasip just so you can go get yourself killed.
No need. I'm sure Remy will lend her his motorboat if I ask him nicely. He still owes me a favor after all, and I'll accompany her on my broom.
And I as a bat. Bitch can easily be summoned once we're there, if we need her.
I can swim as fast as the aqua zip, so I'm coming too. I've always wanted to meet the sea hag in person.
But you can't fight her, not even with all your powers combined. Her flaming sword
is just a weapon that can be used against her too. Let's go.
Have you all lost your minds?
If it's any consolation, I think your Sandman is the best indeed. But don't tell anyone I said that, or I'll deny it.
It was a very busy day in early fall. One of the hens had just laid a golden egg, and of course the foxes tried to steal it, but Vermilion wouldn't let them. I'll spare you the gross details, but let's just say, that was the day young Corwin learned that even wild animals can crap themselves out of fear.
Oh no. Poor foxes.
Poor foxes my ass. Pardon the expression, but they're the root of all evil in my hometown. Well, most of it anyway. There's also, whatever lives in the Bramblewood Lake.
Sorry. I didn't mean to.
It's not your fault. It's just difficult not to think about it every once in a while, on an island surrounded by the ocean and inhabited by mermaids. As much as I enjoyed this vacation, part of me is glad that it's coming to an end soon.
You don't have anything to fear from the harmless merfolk around here, although there will always be black sheep of course, like that new friend of the Mamminis, Leviathan. Be careful around him.
I know, I don't trust him either. He seems like the type who could accidentally drown a child if one of his pranks went too far. But then again, some people would say the same thing about the Mamminis. I haven't talked to someone like you in ages. That is the one thing I'll miss when I'm gone.
Then stay.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. There's barely any merfolk here in Lani St. Taz, most of them live in Ohanali town, and there's houses further inland as well, so you wouldn't have to live surrounded by water if you don't like that. And we could be together. Think about it.
You do realize that you look ridiculous in these clothes, right?
So what? The behemoth gave them to me, and we'll have a much easier time getting through their valley if they remember who their king is.
Fine by me, as long as you remember what we're here for.
To ask the angel about Elise, not seduce her to get a taste of her purity. Yeah, I know. Follow me.
One day you'll have to explain to me how exactly you managed to brainwash an entire village of terrifying creatures. I could use an obedient army like that myself.
I didn't brainwash them. They accepted me as their king because they know a high-quality leader when they see one.
Or because they had never encountered a vampire before and were afraid of you.
Either works for me. That's them.
I'll keep them distracted while you go get that conch shell. Just don't collapse the cave again, Willie. Nuriel is not around to save you this time, and I doubt that Leviathan is on good enough terms with the island spirits to ask them for help.
I have a feeling that the island spirits are going to hate us after today no matter what else happens.
Beautiful view, isn't it? Do you like our new home?
Of course. If we ignore for a second that it's located in an underground city, formerly inhabited by the very witch hunters I have to thank for the fact that I can never see the sun again without extra protection, I guess it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You two have a lot of catching up to do. I'll leave you alone. Professor Greyhill, I take it you also have a problem that can't possibly be solved without my intervention?
No. I just wanted to ask how Mr. Notes and Mr. Tado are settling in.
She's still not happy with his decision to turn her into a vampire after the witch hunters attacked her, but at least they're talking again. I guess she finally understands that her only other option would have been death, and now she's redirecting her anger toward the people responsible for that.
Sounds like she's eager to join the witch hunters. I hear the magic community actually has an organization like that.
Yes, the so-called Witch Hunter Opposition and Reconnaissance Entity, HOR for short. And one of their agents was supposed to help me out here. Where the hell is Elise?
Charmaine, look, we finally found a good place for the magic portal.
In the middle of the park? What if some children playing here accidentally run through it?
Well, they'll just have to be careful. But I didn't realize vampire children were even a thing.
They are, and they are just as childish as regular children until they grow up. Some never do, or else it wouldn't be this hard to keep all the adult vampires under control at the moment.
That reminds me, there is something else I need your help with after all.
I knew it.
A very tall vampire lady has requested to talk to you about her daughter's accommodation. They would like a bigger house. Oh, there she is.
So we finally meet.
I really don't have time for this now. Could you handle it, Pompiliu?
What? Me? But You know what? Yeah, I think I can handle it.
Loki, thank goodness you're here. Does this mean you're back from vacation and I can finally go home? I still have some paperwork to do for the reopening of Studio Donna and a music lesson with a very impatient child that had to be rescheduled 3 times already.
That child will have to wait just a little longer. I need your help.
You too? Silly me, hoping for a moment to catch my breath. Not that I actually need to breathe, but you know what I mean.
The Mamminis are preparing to take on the Angel of Sulane.
What?
How exactly did you blow this cave up the last time you came here?
One of those creatures hit me while I was preparing to cast a spell. I dropped my wand and it fired by itself. Right here.
That gonna happen? Cool. 30 years a witch and still learning.
I think I've found what you're looking for.
Yes. The voice of Sulani, just like I remember it.
My merman powers developed normally, so I never had to submit to the Sea Hag's trial. But if only half the rumors about this conch shell are true, there's a lot more you can do with it than just summon her.
Like what? Does the right incantation turn it into the flaming sword that Loki is so afraid of?
Possibly. The voice of Sulani is said to be some sort of physical manifestation of elemental magic, and a flaming sword consists of fire, which is one of the elements. I would keep it if I were you.
Oh, you bet.
So you're saying this last picture isn't supposed to be taken literally? It's not really a fruit like the forbidden fruit, but more like a symbolic representation of something morally ambiguous that you had to do in order to survive. Is that it? Okay. I can't help noticing that your heads are shaped like those of aliens, even though you otherwise resemble humanoid dinosaurs, or the big animals, as you call them. And both aliens and dinosaurs were present on these islands when the Divine Oracle left. Are your people their descendants? Just as I thought. Fascinating, and morally ambiguous indeed. No offense. Hey, I said no offense. Sorry if I'm a little put off by the idea of aliens getting it on with dinosaurs, but if it helps, I don't like to imagine how my parents created me either.
What's going on? I thought Tiamo was supposed to have everything under control here.
Not anymore. Run.
The cathedral above the clouds is still standing. Unbelievable. I didn't think I was ever going to see this place again.
I know what you mean. I wasn't so keen on coming back here either. Why did you bring me along again? Don't you know that I could be chilling on the beach right now, destroying a certain trio of sandmen?
You said there were witches among the apostles of Saint Taz back in your day.
Alien witches, yes. Of the very primitive kind. I could never have fooled them otherwise.
But their descendants are still around, and probably more powerful. We'll need all the power we can get to save our friends. We have to go in there now.
I know. I'm just a little nervous. Do the others really think they can win in a fight against the angel with a flaming sword?
Unfortunately, they don't seem to know what the flaming sword really is. They must assume it's just some kind of magic weapon.
Oh dear.
This chandelier keeps astonishing and terrifying me at the same time. It looks so ominous, so heavy. Doesn't bear contemplating what would happen if it ever fell down.
You just correctly guessed the intention behind it. Pride was built as a symbol of the divine oracle's magic. Astonishing, powerful, and beautiful to look at for us, the oracle's faithful disciples, but also a terrifying force to be reckoned with should you ever find yourself on their bad side.
Do you have any powers yourself? I know of aliens who can move objects with their minds.
Yes, most of my ancestors could do that, but the power got weaker with every generation that procreated with humans instead of their own kind, and nowadays I only have my looks to remind me of my alien heritage. But I prefer moving things with my hands anyway.
Do you think there's a way to reactivate that power? Because we could use it right now.
Who is we? You and that dog?
No, me and... Oh.
So, did you learn anything new in the valley?
Yeah, I think I finally figured out where the behemoth came from. Sulani, or Mua Pelam in particular, was the home of the last living dinosaurs back in the days of the Divine Oracle. But when the angel cast her out with the flaming sword, most of the dinosaurs were also killed in the big fire that ensued. Shortly thereafter, a few alien ladies, probably inspired by the Sodom and Gomorrah type of society that Charmaine had established, thought it would be fun to, become intimate with the few remaining specimens, resulting in the existence of the creatures we've seen today.
I suppose I should be horrified now, but never mind. I'm only wondering how exactly you got them to tell you all that. Since when do you speak Behemothean?
I don't. I gave one of them the ability to understand my language via mind control, and asked simple questions that he could answer with yes or no by squeaking once or twice respectively. It worked well until he decided to turn on me all of a sudden.
Any idea why that happened? What did we do to piss them off?
Other than trespassing on their land, stealing from their cave and lying to them, I can't think of anything. Descendants of primeval creatures are so fucking touchy these days.
Maybe the island spirits had a hand in it. They must know what we're up to, and if not, they certainly will once I blow into this conch shell.
Go ahead then, give me your best blowjob.
Excuse me?
No excuses.
I know why you're here, but the answer is no.
This is the sea hag?
Apparently. She's beautiful.
Way too beautiful and healthy looking to have been the victim of a major crime recently. So why did you take our friend Elise away? What has she done to you?
I don't have to explain myself to you, but if you wish to talk about crimes, why don't we start with your own? You, Wilbica, disturbed the peace of the island spirits by collapsing the cave in the valley. And you, Tiamo, perverted an entire village to worship you as their king.
How does she know our names?
I know a lot more than just that. Among other things that you go by two names, I am Mammini and Mischief. You convinced an otherwise law-abiding man to plant an illegal flower in his garden, and told your children to catch you a shark for dinner, resulting in the death of an endangered specimen at the hands of Leviathan, the island chain's most infamous troublemaker. And now you're trying to steal the voice of Sulani. What gives you the idea
that I'm just going to ignore everything they've done and even help them? If they feel like going after an angel, who am I to stop them?
That angel is the one who cast the divine oracle out of Sulani. It is her fault that your people can't be with their leader anymore. I know you're not too fond of Aya and her children, but have you ever heard of the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
No, but I've heard of two birds with one stone. If two of my enemies decide to fight each other and leave me alone, fine by me.
Shannon, think about this. The Mamminis are my friends too, so if there's anything you can do to help, please. Do it for me, not for them.
There is nothing I can do. As I just said, I don't have any powers.
But this church does, and you know it. It makes me very sad to come back here after so many years just to discover that my disciples have turned their backs on my teachings about altruism and solidarity in times of need.
What? Is it? Is it really you?
You're wasting your time and not helping your case. I cannot die, you fools.
And we're not trying to kill you. We just want you to talk. Where is Elise?
Hidden away from the world, in a place beyond time and space, where she cannot cause any harm. When your blue-haired friend summoned me the other day and implied that he and I would be working together in the future he came from, we cast a glance into that future, but were not pleased with what we saw, and the role Elise Donovan played in it.
We, as in, you and other angels. How many of you are there?
That is not your concern. But our job is to maintain the natural order of all things, which Elise disturbed, so we had to remove her from the picture. You do not pose a threat to the natural order, but I will no longer tolerate your other transgressions either. With the power of the flaming sword, I cast you out of Sulani, never to return.
Leviathan? Didn't you say the flaming sword was really the voice of Sulani?
I'm afraid I might have been wrong about that. Shit.